Welcome back to Gail at Night. Imagine taking someone to court, winning your case, getting money damages, and still being told by a federal judge that you can't silence them. This just happened, and it's raising some serious questions about free speech, defamation, and where the line really is. All right, so let's talk about what just went down on April 20th, 2026, because this situation is a perfect example of how the law doesn't always work the way we think it does. A federal judge in Florida just denied Megan Thee Stallion's request for a permanent injunction against blogger Milagro Cooper. She's also known as Milagro Grams on social media. And the reason is First Amendment concerns and not enough evidence to justify it. Let me pause here because a lot of people, when they hear the word injunction and don't really understand what that actually means in real life, a permanent injunction is not temporary. It's not a warning. It's not a slap on the wrist. This is a final court order that tells someone that they are legally required to stop doing something indefinitely. This order stays in place forever unless a judge later changes it. And if you violate it, you can be held in contempt of court, which can mean fines, asset seizures, or even jail time. So this is serious. Now, compare that to something like a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction. Those are just short-term fixes while a case is still playing out. A permanent injunction, that's the end game. But here's the thing, courts don't just hand these out. To actually get one, you have to pass a strict legal test. You have to prove that one, that you've suffered irreparable harm, meaning damage that can't just be fixed later. You have to prove that money isn't enough to make you whole. You have to also prove that the hardship on you outweighs the burden on the other person. And you have to prove that granting it won't go against the public interest. That's a pretty high bar. And in this case, the judge said Megan Thee Stallion didn't meet that. Let's get into why. First, prior restraint. The judge, U.S. District Judge Cecilia Altanago, she said that what was being presented was essentially an unconstitutional prior restraint on speech. In plain terms, the court is extremely hesitant to block someone from speaking before they actually say anything, because that goes directly against First Amendment protections. Second, lack of evidence. The court found there was no proof of stalking or any immediate threat of harm. And that matters because for something like this, you need more than just claims. You need clear, convincing evidence that meets a very high legal standard. And third, this is important, adequate remedy. The judge pointed out that Megan already received monetary damages. Let's not forget, back in December 2025, a jury found Milagro Cooper liable for defamation and for helping spread a sexual deepfake video. And that resulted in about $59,000 in damages. I will link that video at the end of this video.
Rapper Megan Thee Stallion, real name Megan Pete, took the stand Wednesday, part of the defamation trial of blogger Milagro Cooper. Megan sued Cooper, known as Milagro Grams online, alleging Cooper colluded with singer and rapper Tory Lanez to, quote, denigrate, belittle, insult, and spread false statements about Megan. Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, was convicted in 2022 of shooting Megan. The rapper testified about the pornographic deepfake Milagro urged her followers to see on Twitter. Despite knowing it was a false digital depiction of her, she said, quote, "It's really embarrassing to see a bunch of people you don't know see you in a position like that. And I made up my mind that day that I was going to sue Milagro." Megan testified that Cooper's online campaign against her started prior to the trial of Tory Lanez. She believes he and his family were using Cooper to sway public opinion, painting her as a liar who testified against an innocent man. Jurors also saw a music video by Tory Lanez in which he's seemingly chopping up a horse's leg. The video was filmed as an order of protection remained in place, barring Lanez from harassing or contacting Megan directly or through third parties. Megan took the images in the video to be a threat and alleges Milagro amplified the video's reach and fanned the flames of online lies and vitriol against her, saying, quote, "I felt like my life doesn't matter to anybody, and at that point, I'm starting to question if it matters to me."
Is in. A jury partially sided with Megan Thee Stallion in her defamation trial.
NBC6's Tony Pipitone has been following the case and joins us live with a closer look at the verdict and what it means for the blogger at the center of the case. Tony.
Well, Joanna, mixed verdict here in federal court today. A jury found an online commentator damaged Megan Thee Stallion when accusing her of trying to deceive another court in her testimony against rapper Tory Lanez, who shot her back in 2020. But the emotional distress she suffered, including from the streamer commentator Milagro Cooper directing followers to a deepfake porn video, well, it was not worth the millions claimed. Instead, the jury awarded only $59,000 in damages. She wanted tens of millions. What did she get?
What did they say in there?
59,000. Woo-hee indeed. As Milagro Cooper said, she was grateful the jury found only relatively minor damages.
I'm not ecstatic. Of course, you want things to go your way, but like I said, I respect the jury and what they decided, and I think I made up pretty good.
A sentiment echoed by her attorney. They wanted tens of millions of dollars.
Right. They didn't get that. Gratefully, the jury didn't see fit to award her that sort of money. I don't think that was appropriate in any circumstances. And so that's what the jury found.
They did find Cooper intentionally inflicted emotional distress on the Grammy-winning rap star, whose legal name is Megan Pete, and that Cooper directed followers to a deep fake video that falsely put Pete's image in a porn video. Pete claimed she lost millions in deals and was so distraught by all this, she could not write music and needed therapy. But Cooper claimed she was just facilitating a conversation with her viewers about a public figure.
We did everything we could to make sure that she got the best verdict possible. We respect the jury's verdict. We always have to, right? And whether we agree with it or not, we respect it. And at the end of the day, it was not a complete win for any side. It's a trial. This is what happens in trial.
As for Cooper, I asked her if the legal ordeal might cause her to change her ways. Lessons learned next time you get on air?
Yeah, so tune into the next show so y'all can see how I handle things moving forward, y'all. Okay?
Spoken like a true media figure, which in fact the jury found she was. So even though the jury awarded $16,000 more in damages for defamation, the judge struck that count because Megan Thee Stallion's attorneys did not file what's called a pre-suit notice with Cooper before filing suit, putting her on notice that she should retract the comments she made. So it would have been a $75,000 judgment. Now it's a $59,000 judgment. Still nothing like the tens of millions in damages that Megan Thee Stallion's lawyers outlined for the jury and asked for in punitive damages.
So from the court's perspective, the legal system already provided a remedy. And if money can fix it or at least compensate for it, then a permanent injunction usually isn't necessary. And that's where a lot of people get it twisted. So the jury originally awarded Meg Thee Stallion an additional $16,000 in defamation damages. But the judge threw that out. Why? Because her attorney didn't file what's called a pre-suit notice. I want to briefly touch on that for a minute. A pre-suit notice is basically a formal warning you're required to send before you file certain types of lawsuits, especially defamation cases in some states. In some states, a protective order or a stalking no contact order will function as a strong notice as well. It tells the other party, here's what you said, here's why it's false or harmful, and here's your chance to fix it before this goes to court. That fix could mean retracting the statement, correcting it, or stopping the behavior altogether. And if they don't fix it, now you've built a stronger case when you file your lawsuit. But if you skip that step when the law requires it, you can lose access to certain damages. Exactly what happened here. A pre-suit notice is not the same thing as a restraining order or an injunction. A restraining order, like a stalking no contact order, is something you file in court to immediately stop someone's behavior. A pre-suit notice, that happens before court. It's more like putting someone on legal notice and giving them an opportunity to correct themselves. But here's how it could have helped Megan Thee Stallion. If her attorney had sent that notice to Cooper ahead of time, it would have done a few things. First, it would have created a clear record showing that Cooper was told directly, this is false, this is harmful, stop. Second, if Cooper ignored it and kept going, that strengthens the argument that the behavior was intentional, which matters a lot in defamation. And third, it would have preserved Megan's ability to recover full damages, including that extra $16,000 that the jury originally awarded her. This was a procedural step that had real financial consequences. In cases like this, it's not just about what you can prove, it's about whether you followed every required step to get there. Winning a defamation case does not automatically mean you get to silence someone permanently. Those are two completely different legal outcomes. This case hits on some bigger issues. It hits on free speech versus harm. It hits on online defamation, deepfake content, and how far courts are willing to go to restrict someone's voice. Because once you start limiting speech, even problematic speech, you're stepping into constitutional territory, and courts move very careful there. So yeah, this wasn't just a denial. This was the court basically saying that they weren't finna cross that line. And if you think this is just about two people in a lawsuit, think again, because the real question is, where should the line be between protecting someone's reputation and protecting everyone's right to speak? Keep in mind, truth isn't defamation. It might feel like an attack when your actions and character are being exposed, but that's not defamation. That's free speech. So what are your thoughts on the judge's decision? Drop your comments down below. Hit the like button for me, and I will see you on the next video. This is Gail at Night. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for supporting. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and set the bell to all.